Hey everybody, this is Chad Daniels, and you have landed in the middle of somewhere. Hello, how are you? Thank you for coming back. Across from me, as always, is Cyrus Amundsen, and in the middle of the two of us, we've brought you a lovely guest, a friend of both of ours for almost ever. It is Bengt Washburn, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Bengt Washburn.
It's good to be here with you guys.
It's very nice to have you. There's a thing, so we're from Acme. That's where we started.
Yeah.
You and I.
Yeah.
And there are comics that the great Louis Lee, now allegations aside, the great
Right.
Louis Lee.
Right.
We're not going to comment on the allegations, but when you come up at this club, he has such a highly respected taste.
Yeah.
Right? That's
Yeah.
And a lot of people from a lot of other places are desperate to get in here. And
this gets into the allegations.
And this really gets into the allegations.
This is where
It surely does.
that's how I get.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah, and we're on a, what's it called? It's a legal muzzle. What's it called when we can't talk? Gag order.
Gag order.
I
Yeah.
like
Gag
legal
order.
muzzle.
Which is actually how Bent got his first week here,
Yes,
gag
I was
order.
gonna say, that sounds better
with
to me.
Louis. We're going to bring out a tiny little doll and have you show us where Louis made you touch him.
So,
Hold on.
allegedly.
Okay, that's all.
Of course, allegedly. Yeah.
Allegations.
But there are comics that, even as you and I have come, there are people, he has some people who come in for a week once, some people come in for a few times, and then there are people that are on his calendar every year for
Right.
as long as I've been looking at this calendar.
Right.
And then those are the people that you and I come and watch all the time.
Yeah.
And you are one of those people.
Oh, well,
That's true.
thank you.
Very, very funny, very well thought out, brilliant bits. You majored in art.
I did.
Now,
Yeah.
what do you have? What's the story?
I just, honestly, I wanted to do comedy, like when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But we were devout Mormon. And I thought you'd go to hell for doing comedy. I really did. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
That's a real thing you believe?
Well, it didn't seem like you could go to heaven and do comedy. Did it? You know what I mean? It
Interesting.
just fell that way.
I like you say that like we're going to go, right, yeah, I remember that. I remember that feeling.
You never had. I always felt that this is. And
I'd
then,
had that with jacking off.
Yeah.
Well, that as well.
Imagine had
Yes.
you been black as a child and Mormon.
Yeah.
How
up
would that have
until
happened?
1978. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It would have
1978.
been that day. Would have been like, ooh, finally.
It's always been such a weird thing to
it's
think about where
so
you
weird.
go until 1978 Jesus couldn't get into heaven. Isn't that something?
Yeah. God changed his mind about his own son.
He
He
was
decided.
like, not on my watch.
Squashed
That was-
that family beef.
It was a weird time. I was when that happened. What was I? That would make I was 13.
Okay.
So it was all, just kind of this racist and people tiptoeing around it and saying it's not racist. I mean, it is. I mean, how else you do it? They
I love
changed
the
that.
declaration. Like we should have black caddies here. Like
Yes, we
you're really-
need.
you're really committed.
And they came right out. Yeah. And then about 5,000, I believe it was about 5,000 Mormons left the church. Out of several million, 5,000 actually were racist. But it's weird because the rest of them were like, oh, okay. Oh, finally. Like, jeez. How long were you all doing this just because you were looking around thinking
Right.
everybody else wanted to?
Yeah, and I did check the
crazy.
numbers. In 1979, the KKK gained 5,000 members,
So that's where they went.
allegedly.
That's where the talent went.
Allegedly.
Okay.
Now, I will say that I didn't think I was going to go to hell when I wanted to do comedy until I started doing comedy, and after shows, people would say, go to hell. And I thought, well, this is kind of a reverse thing here.
I've had that too.
Yeah.
I like
had
that.
that too.
So you were a Mormon kid that wanted to do comedy
Yeah.
and did art. How did that hit your parents?
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, that's
probably not good. But
Was the other one you want? Did you want a pogo stick for a living?
They absolutely.
Maybe dance on TV like
Mine
Elvis?
was the least practical.
Yeah.
But my mom did this once. I came downstairs one morning. There's 7 kids in the family, and I come downstairs, and she's kind of looking straight ahead, doing the dishes or something in the kitchen. And out of blue, she says, Ben, long time ago, people always had a lot of children. I know why now. It's because some of them just don't turn out. She just said that to me, and they just let it hang. I'll let you figure out. It's wild. She thought things broke for her
Was there a? Because we've actually never talked about your family, you and I. Was there? What was the like? Was there a point where they came around on what you were doing? Was there like?
They were always pretty fine with it, really.
Yeah.
My mom was a little. I remember one night this happened. I was on the way out on the road when I was first starting, and it's snowing. It's really snowing. It's Utah, so it's dangerous. But I've got to get to a Tribble gig.
Yeah.
She comes out.
Need that 180.
By the way, let me interrupt for the people listening. A Tribble gig is famous in comedy for having to pass the Thursday. You do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and you pass the Thursday night gig 4 times before you actually. I mean, it's like the craziest shit.
And it wasn't called. They were never called Tribble gigs.
Tribble runs.
It was
Triple
a
run. That's
Yeah.
right. It's a triple run. That's true. Good point. It's a triple run.
Because it makes you want to run into the fucking ocean with weights in your pocket.
By the end, yeah. So I was doing that. Where was I? I was doing that Tribble run, and she comes out right as I leave. Says, "Now, Bengt, try not to swear." that was the the parting. I'm driving into a blizzard. Don't swear. It's wild.
You're about to because the other thing about a lot of the Tribble gigs because you grew up in Utah, and so a lot of them we're talking Montana, we're talking Wyoming.
Yep.
You're going up and
Idaho.
down. Yeah, you're seeing trucks that ran away and ran up that gravel thing. It's not a It's not a
scary
safe
drives.
driving thing. Yeah,
And I'd be doing bars. And these are bars that love Mormons.
Yeah.
So they love, and I looked so Mormon. I couldn't even
you had
swear.
You had your little name tag on.
I might as well.
Elder Washburn.
I couldn't like when I did swear, it just didn't sound right. Even they were like, ugh, that was I made swearing uncool.
We wanted you to swear, but take it back.
Stop doing that. Say dang. Yeah, it was wild. So that's how I started.
Did you go on the journey with the mission? Did you go on the?
I did.
You did. So did you? You started comedy after that?
I started after.
Where was your
Seattle,
mission?
Seattle, Washington,
Okay.
1984 to 86. Spanish speaking, so I don't speak Spanish because I was in Seattle. Horrible Spanish, can't speak it. And I'm glad I went in. We were talking about blacks in the priesthood with Mormonism.
Yeah.
I went 84. My brother went in 77. So
Right
the rule
before,
change
yeah.
came when he was in the Philadelphia, PA mission.
Yep.
And it's like, good news, elders. We get to share the gospel with our black brothers. I mean, and they're just so, okay.
Yeah.
And they just stroll out into Philly.
Your brother spent a full year telling black people they couldn't get into heaven. Then he's like, hey,
Rule
guys,
change.
you're not going to believe this.
God changed his mind.
Just knocking on doors like, turns out.
He was racist, but he changed it. That's what I always tell people. I don't know what's more awkward to explain, that God is racist or that God was racist and changed their mind. I mean, both of those arguments are hard to spin.
When you said that about your brother, it made me think not that that's obviously the funnier thing, that he would have to go out and re-explain to people, but all I could think about was that now you might have black Mormons, and he'd be like one of the guys who played in the NBA in the 40s or whatever, before before Bill Russell came around and started blocking shit.
The church might have changed his rules, but I didn't.
Guy just walks in, I recruited 35 today. And you're like, God damn it, I haven't gotten 35 in 2 years.
It's a success. That didn't happen, actually. They didn't. Surprisingly, they didn't just come to the church in droves. It was shocking.
No,
I'm sure there were some questions.
It's still not. I would say it's still not a chill vibe between the groups, and I don't want to start anything. But I will say I do think
pretty chill.
Can we just say though it's not. This doesn't feel welcoming. You can't come in here. You can't come in here. You can't come in here. Hey, come in here.
Well, they could come in. They could always come in. Remember Floyd J. Phillips?
Sure don't.
Floyd J. Phillips, do you know?
Yes. Oh, comic. Yeah.
Floyd J. Floyd J. Phillips.
I was thinking Mormons, and I thought it sounded like a cartoon, like dog sheriff.
Oh, that's a good. That's a good point because Mormon higher ups always say the middle initial.
Yeah, middle
that's
initial.
what they do.
Yeah.
But Floyd J. Phillips, comic from Chicago, we met in the San Francisco comedy competition. We get to be good friends, and I loved him. He's a blast. He's crazy, but we had a blast. Then he goes home and he talks to his sister who knows about Mormonism and all the racist doctrine, and I get a call. Like 2 days later, Ben, it's Floyd. You know, I'll try to do Floyd's voice. I can't. And
No, please. And then Chad, you do Floyd's voice.
yeah, that'd be better. And then you will.
No, I'll just watch.
Okay.
I'm on tape for a lot of things so far. I got to even the
want
score.
So I'm and and when he calls, I know. I already know because it's been a couple days, and he knows about this doctrine that I do. When do you bring that up? You know. Mm-hmm. He says, Ben, I heard my sister told me, and I said, yeah, it's true that you could be Mormon, but you just couldn't. You couldn't go to the highest level in heaven.
You can't go to super heaven.
Yeah.
You could give the Mormon church money, you just couldn't have everlasting life.
This is what Floyd said. This was Floyd. He said, you mean there's a back of the bus section in heaven? You tell me. Yeah.
Dude, Floyd's so funny.
Funny. He killed me.
So one of my physical therapists, one of the many physical therapists who are keeping me upright, devout Mormon. To this day, one of the most wonderful people I've ever been around. He's really interesting because I think, and I don't know how connected you are at this point, but he's so much younger, and he's so much more progressive that it's interesting how he views the past and how he views what's happening right now. And I don't think this is going to be right, and everybody's going to message me and get really upset. And Chad will hate it because he's an enemy of all the churches.
That's not true.
Some.
Some.
Yeah, okay.
It does seem like efforts are being made in the Mormon church at this point today that I don't know that are being made in a lot of the other ones. It's interesting.
There's a big thing going on between the younger generation and which is America. Same thing.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about a
church,
when you read the New Testament of the Bible, right, where is the only part Jesus is in, Christianity, Jesus Christ.
I don't know why I did this.
We're talking about.
Here we go. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
But don't you think a church's job is to invite every single person in?
Well, that's what they've done, including some bad ones. You know,
Of
that's
course.
the problem.
That's how we got
They
that
included
whole,
some. The whole.
Well, let's just move them.
Yeah.
Let him in and move him.
It should be more tolerant.
It is, I don't know. I should not have. Let me switch topics.
Okay.
That's probably a great idea.
I think
because I can feel my pulse in my temple right now, and I was about to go hard in the paint.
Well, and that's why I brought up, if you don't think I went there to get to Catholicism, just to look at, you can see his jaw a little bit. Yeah, you can see
You can
it.
see my jaw? Oh my God! You can see my jaw?
Success.
I haven't been able to see my jaw since before Christmas.
Now maybe that'll let you shave a little bit and accept your face.
Shut up.
It's both of us.
Keep going.
Both of us for different reasons.
Keep going.
I just want you to love yourself. So, you both have daughters.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. I have two.
And yours are ages?
31
Yep.
and 14.
Yep. And that's
a
what we call
12-year-old granddaughter.
We call that an Amundsen gap.
And
We got some of those in the Amundsen
Yeah?
clan. We got we like to spread it out about 18 years between me and Janine. So
Wow.
and your daughters now, so you both have adult daughters.
Correct.
Yeah.
I've known both of you for a very long time, and I just want to say, I want to take this moment to say that I am impressed and I appreciate that both of you have never once commented on how your daughter looks hot or attractive.
Why? What
I
are you
don't know
talking
what,
about?
dude. I don't know what's going on out in America.
Is that's
I don't know
odd.
how.
We sure haven't.
I know. No,
Here's
I
the
haven't.
thing. Aside
haven't.
from Adam Carolla's Instagram feed, I mean, this is something, and I'm not saying he says she's attractive, but why are you taking so many whatever. The point is, go ahead and cut that, Justin. Maybe it's more of a Southern thing, guys whose daughters get dressed up for the cotillion, but I just keep meeting, like, guys who, they don't go like, yeah, look at my daughter, she's a piece of meat. But they'll be like, isn't she pretty? And I was like, who?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah. It's
Are you
Be
trying?
anyone other than your kid. I hope it's my wife. What the fuck are you talking about?
Of course you do, you cuck.
Stop it.
It's like these guys are trying to get the best cow. Like, isn't she? Show me the cow's tail and I'll pull her pants off.
It's more like they want more cows for
Yes.
it. How many cows will you give
Yeah,
me for this?
exactly.
Yeah.
Do you have that little to talk about that we have to talk about your daughter's looks? Like with me? Is that what we're doing?
I don't get it. I will tell my daughter she is beautiful, but I'm not going to go
Tell me?
parading around.
Yes.
Yeah, like, hey, don't you think?
Have you not trafficked? Like, because your daughter, I suppose she went to school, you don't spend a lot of time with the parents, she's school out of state. You haven't run into any weird fucking dads like that?
Not really. I mean, the one dad I ran into, I told you about when Olivia was a freshman.
Yes. Yep.
She.
I'm not saying it's an epidemic.
I thought it was like cartel shit.
I've just noticed it, here and there since moving to Ohio. Maybe it's a big daughter fucker state. I don't know.
Well, I think Ohio, anytime you're in a northern state where people have southern accents, I think you're going to run into
Some crossover.
well, yeah, like
confusion.
where they're like, why don't we have a southern ball? Well, because you're not in the South. So then you have to go, isn't she pretty?
You're trying to make it more southern, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, and I think-
Southing it up.
People talk about how handsome men talk about how handsome their sons are, but even that's weird. I think you get.
I've also never done that, and I think my son's pretty handsome.
But I
fella.
think you get one of them. You're like, isn't he a handsome guy? And it depends who you're saying it to. But I don't know.
Yeah, like if it's a grandpa or grandma,
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
Thank you. I was just going to say
Yeah.
that. If it's a grandma, isn't my grandson handsome?
Yeah.
And my
Because they're in the generation that used to do that all the time. This stuff he's talking about. No, I'm kidding.
my grandma used to call me classically handsome, which is not a compliment.
I actually think that is a compliment. I think that was the highest compliment of the day.
I don't think
She
so.
thinks you look like. Start rattling. Give me some former movie stars.
I'm not that old.
Anyways.
Come on. I look that old,
I
but
know. I was really hoping, and
The reason
from
I
what
brought
know
up
from
art.
my PT.
The reason I brought
but
up
you didn't watch
art.
a lot of movies as a kid.
The reason I brought up art is because I'm always so fascinated when I
You
go.
don't want to keep going down the path.
when
I
I
was
go
going down?
to a museum, when I go to MoMA,
Okay.
I stand in front of a work of art, and I don't know anything about what anything means, right? I don't know that the brushstrokes are going down to the left. I don't know what that. I don't know. I know blue means sad. Sometimes,
I guess it could, yeah.
Could also
Yeah.
mean ocean.
but sad ocean, motherfucker. How about
Okay,
that?
Sure.
And so this ocean was filled by tears. That's how sad it is. But I don't know. I just know, like, oh my God, for some reason I am drawn to this.
Yeah.
But you go there, and you know all the shit. You know why people are drawn to it, correct?
No, don't know.
Is that true?
I have no idea. That's why I quit.
I have been telling people you know the most about art
No.
out of any. Every time I'm looking at a painting, I go, I wish Bengt was here. And now
Isn't it just a scam? I
Well,
mean,
some of it is. I don't know. That's why I quit. Because I
Okay.
thought I understood. I did grad school. I painted for like 7, 8, 9 years. And then I went to the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. I'm in the upstairs thing. And it was just one thing after another. Like, man, I'm not getting this. I'm staring at it. And I'm thinking, I'm an idiot. I don't get this. I don't get this. And I got to it was like a charred kid's blanket with some charred teddy bears on it. And I remember just looking like, wait, this is all fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
It made me angry. Like, okay, if I don't get it, you're jerking off in the corner. All of you. It made me angry. It made me so angry. A lot of it's great, but I think it got they started painting for other artists, and it just started spiraling up into their own place, some of it.
Justin, can we clip that a charred blanket and charred teddy bears makes Bengt jerk off in a corner? Can we clip that for the YouTubes?
Oh, man.
Obviously,
it's out.
we know that's not
But
the
we all
case.
have our things.
I don't know. It might be the case. He clipped it.
I saw an experiment. I've seen two of these that I think are fascinating, where they did this fashion mall where they brought in things from like the dollar store, right? But then they told people this is a high-end designer, and this is why this costs so much, and people are like, oh shit, and they bought into it. Right?
Yeah.
There's
Oh, yeah.
no way you really know what great fashion is. And they did that with art. They had kids from, I can't remember, I think elementary school, do all this art, and then they hung it up and told people it was this famous artist, and people would walk in and go, oh yeah, I see what's happening here. And it's just like a kid's painting.
Oh, kids' paintings are awesome. I love them. I would buy a kid's painting in a heartbeat. Yeah, they're really great. Oftentimes, kids paintings are great. It's weird, but they're way better than most adult paintings.
I agree.
Well, don't you think the thing is just that as the most uncultured person in this room, I think so my brother Jess is he's a pop artist. He's really, really talented.
He is great.
I think, and this is conspiracy sci and like YouTube video sci, but a lot of the art that becomes insanely like sought after and really expensive, it's really wealthy people exchanging money. It's a place where money is stored. And then a lot of the bullshit hype parade that goes around with it. But I think it's, obviously there's a lot, like if you like, I like Basquiat. I mean, everybody likes Basquiat. But if you look at...
What? No.
That would be incredible.
Just like, Bengt just drops his mic and leaves.
Okay.
I also love dipping cookies in my coffee. I love Basquiat cookies.
Kids' paintings. Here we go. No, yeah. Okay.
But like, I think you see, to me, I don't care. So my favorite thing to do is I go to a lot of because Jenna, my wife's an artist. And so we will go to a lot of art festivals and markets. And I don't need, if somebody gave me an original Basquiat, you'd be like, what the fuck? But beyond that, I like to go to these people who, it's a side job, it's a passion. You're just in a fucking parking lot somewhere in the country. Yeah. And somebody made something cool. Right now in my office, I've just got, they're never going to get hung up. We don't have enough wall space. But I just buy prints from people.
Oh, okay.
Just stuff that I see and I go, oh, God, I love the way that makes me feel.
Do the same thing.
And then I'll stick one up.
Stacks of them at my house.
That's, to me, like, when you get to the high level.
Yeah, because it was like, I just got confused at the end of my art career. I didn't know, it's so hard to know what you're supposed to, I just didn't know what to do. Because I didn't know what was good or I know what I like to do. So my end goal, honestly, was I just want to make something that if people found it in like a storage unit, they wouldn't want to throw it away. That was my goal.
Interesting.
That was it. There's just something that people would hesitate to chuck in a dumpster. I felt, okay, I did something. That's how low the bar went.
But that's actually a good.
That's a really good.
Yeah,
that's really good.
And I don't want to keep fluffing your nuts here, but when you're on stage,
keep going.
No.
Let me get a teddy bear and a blanket.
The way your bits are written in stand-up, you can tell that you have an art-like mind because it's not nonsense drivel. It's like really well thought out bits.
Trying to build something when I do it.
Yeah, no, and you can tell, and I think it's great.
Oh, good.
What was when you stopped? Are you still making anything?
No.
When you stopped, what were you painting mainly? Were you doing
just
pottery?
Doing little landscapes. I drew some like wine labels for my brother.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
He and his wife, they decided to do some wine, so I did some wine. That's it. Just a few little drawings now and then, but it just takes too much time.
These people doing wine at their own house. I'd be worried. Like, yeah, but that's like when your brother, like, who doesn't understand the science, poisons himself to death, and it just says, it just got your signature on the label next to his body.
What happened here?
Yeah,
looks like a Mormon made some wine. Yeah, that is kind of it, but it was good. It turned out good. I don't know if it's good. I drank it.
What's the most amazing thing you've ever seen on the road?
Or maybe it could be, have you ever seen a two-headed person? That's a good answer.
We are the kings of subtly bringing up stories for our guests.
What are the two best things you've ever seen on the road? And,
Some at the same time.
And could you combine them?
Yes, I could.
Okay.
It was multiple. And this is my oldest daughter, who's 31 now, is back right after the divorce. And I was living in my car in a tent, and but I had her for a week or two in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And
she came to your tent?
That was my trick. I was like, well, we'll go camping, and we'll go down to the Grand Canyon because it's educational. Kids love Grand Canyons.
Can we stop at the place before we go, Dad? I got to go to the bathroom.
I brought my niece, so it was her and my niece were out on the way to the Grand Canyon. We get there, and my daughter ended up, she was afraid of heights, so that did not pan out at all.
Sure.
Okay. She couldn't look at it. But we get to the canyon, and the first thing I saw were two California condors. Do you know what those are?
Birds.
Huge.
Yeah.
10-foot wingspan.
Gigantic, yeah.
Prehistoric. 10 foot. Like they make the vultures look like crows. They're massive.
Okay.
And I don't know about you, but I've had a phobia of birds. I have a phobia of large birds.
Oh, well, then that'll do it.
Yeah.
And but it makes you fascinated with them. So I'd always wanted to see one, but with a crowd of people, so you'd feel safe, and this was perfect.
Taller people,
Yes,
so if they decide
yes.
to carry someone off.
So we're all together, and there's a patio. Have you guys been to the Grand Canyon North Rim?
I have not.
There's a patio there.
Okay.
Has a big, right behind you, there's a big stone fireplace that all the old people come out of the building and they comment about the fireplace. It was nonstop. They come out, well, look at that fireplace. Have you seen the fucking canyon? But it was nonstop. Nonstop. Old people talking about the fireplace.
When these condors are circling, do you feel like what you would imagine a stuffed animal feels like in a claw machine? And I don't want to get you started on stuffed animals because I know we'll have to take another break.
Yeah. No, I'll be a few more minutes before I can.
Okay.
But
Recovery time.
I happen to know.
Refractory people.
Yeah, refractory.
Condors are they're scavengers,
Okay.
so I feel a little safer around them. They're not hawks or eagles or, God forbid, owls. But anyway, so they're commenting on the fireplace constantly, and I'm looking at these condors. Now, when you look at the canyon, you've seen it, right? Have you?
I've never seen the Grand Canyon in person.
It peels you open. I mean, I love it. It's time recorded, so you're just looking at physical evidence of massive amounts of time. And my theory, like I remember I'd heard, who was it? I can't remember which comic, but they dissed on the Grand Canyon like that's nothing. I think it was Rogan. I don't want to say anything, but he dissed on the Grand Canyon. He said, the stars are more. I said, that canyon's pretty cool. It's pretty amazing. Just the time.
What if I just came in hard? I was like, the Mariana Trench, the bottom of the ocean. That's impressive.
No.
Fuck you, Bengt. Mormon fuck.
I would defend the canyon.
Maybe if you grew up in a real church, rocks wouldn't be so interesting to you. Just lose my mind.
It's a good idea. It would be better. It made the story better. Right on.
Hey, well.
And so I'm looking at the canyon, and it's the time. I think I've figured it out. It's like I was at such a losing place that it makes you feel better about your mistakes. You
Sure.
know, you're like, well, so I did this or that. How bad is it? You know what I mean?
Well, you look at something like that and you go, obviously, time will continue.
Yeah.
It like gives you that thing.
Yes.
I went camping
matters.
during the middle of my divorce. I brought Isaac to the Beartooth Pass in Montana, and a wildfire had wiped out a section of the path, the park. And then the next year we went back, it was in full bloom, and I'm like, oh, that's what I needed to see. Like pure fucking destruction, but then regrowth to get you going like, oh, that happens
Keeps happening.
to
Nothing-
everywhere. So this isn't this big of a deal.
That's how I felt.
You can get through this. Yeah.
It just regenerates.
Yeah.
I think super wealthy people don't like the canyon because it mocks accomplishment in a way. Like I thought of that. Like if you pull up in a Ferrari, the canyon's like, fuck your car. You know what I mean? Nice car. It's going to be this thick in a little bit. You know what I mean? Just
That
nothing.
thing's disappearing.
Yeah,
and it will
so-
be a line in this rock.
So if you're invested in your accomplishments and it's tied to all of your identity, I think the canyon totally screws with that. But for me, it was just like, so you're open. I'm cracked open emotionally. And then these two condors come in and I'm like, holy shit, what a day. And then my daughter and niece just wanted to go to the gift shop the whole time. You go to the gift shop, go to the gift shop. Buy shit from China.
And you're just like, I live in a fucking tent. Look at the hole.
We
in
don't
the
have
ground.
shelves.
I can't afford a fridge magnet. I don't have a fridge, you know? So I'm just sitting here, and they want to go to the gift shop, and I'm taking it in. Just hold on. So fine, let's go to the gift shop. I turn to leave, and coming down these stairs pathway is a two-headed girl. Conjoined.
Yeah.
A
But she's
conjoined
wearing
twin.
one shirt, so a two-headed girl. And her dad's with her, which is wow. You know, now I look back like, wow.
Now, here's a question, and I don't want to
Wow.
get into pronouns necessarily, an argument, but just I'm saying, do you have to say them? Stop. I'm saying, do you say her or do you say them?
You say them.
Okay, well,
There's
thank
two
you.
brains.
Why are you yelling at me?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You're
but you
being
go down and
aggressive, like you
there's
jerked off
one
to
and it's
pictures of
about
them.
gender. So I don't. Anyway, I was confused by the two.
She's from.
Oh, we're in
Did it.
trouble.
I did it.
Okay.
You're right. I'm sorry. You win.
Thank you. I just want to know because it is. You go. I don't know. You got one bod.
It's two beings. I think
That's what I would think too. It's
think
two
they're-
existences.
they-
I think they're
they.
from here.
Okay.
I think they're from
They
Minnesota.
are.
Yeah.
It was, and I didn't know that at the time. I mean, I don't know if they were already on TV. I don't think they were. I think I saw them before they got
Pre-fame.
pre-fame hit. But this was the weird part. Suddenly, the canyon and the condor, bullshit. No one on the patio is looking at the canyon, the birds, or the fireplace. They're all just, no one's looking at her. I mean, everybody is just, they're staring at the canyon, but she is burning a hole, or they, in everybody's peripheral vision. You're just sitting there like, whoa. It was wild.
You get old people walk
I think
up and
that's
go,
why the condors
look at the
came.
fucking A, man!
Yeah, it was wild. I was going to say, I think that's why the condors came over, probably. They heard about it. Okay.
They
too
came
far.
out of extinction to see
Yeah,
what was
maybe
happening.
so.
It is interesting because you don't
It was
like
amazing.
you don't want to make them feel bad.
No,
you don't want
of
them to
course.
feel, but also
Wow.
like the human nature of seeing that is pretty.
You're looking at a
unique.
scientific marvel.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
To
nature.
To
It's
not
amazing.
double take
No.
is
So hard.
like you're that woke where you're gonna see that shit and be like, no, ho hum. I
Yeah.
mean, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to turn.
Guess
and
it's
look.
Wednesday still.
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
your problem?
Yeah.
We're just different. Like, not that's pretty different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
it
it is a scientific marvel for that to happen.
It was
It's-
amazing.
Interesting to think about the time in human history where we're not that far away from things, you know, how wild just the
Yeah.
fact that because when we're like, that's a terrible word, but when we're freak shows, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
at a time period when they were printing paper so they could advertise them, where
Right.
you're like a fat guy who can take a
Shut up.
cannonball to the stomach,
A bearded lady.
a bearded lady. Yeah, but I mean, I wonder, that's a time in this country where you're just going from town to town as a freak show. And
It
if
was.
somebody in their town has someone like, there's a guy that was born here without arms,
Yeah.
you can call him the human worm and put him in there. And that is how it happened.
We still do. I mean, that's TV.
We do
I
it.
mean,
It's
you
just-
could argue
that's
her TV show was.
That's exactly right. That's what it is.
I mean, reality TV is just
Yes.
people
Right.
that we used to put in the
My
asylum.
800-pound life or whatever it
Well,
is.
also, even
or
if you go
Hoarders, I mean,
Big
that's doesn't-
Brother.
That's not a
Big Brother, they have
Oh,
all their arms and even big biceps on the arms, but they're still fucking.
Oh,
it's a freak show.
They're freak shows.
Yeah.
They are. They didn't. They used to. I'm pretty sure Bedlam, right? That's a famous asylum. Used to be in
Is
London.
that where the term comes from?
Uh-huh.
This
It's
is
an
pure
asylum.
bedlam?
Yeah, it's an asylum. It was an asylum in London, and they would keep all the people that from mentally to physically to they just put them in there, and then they would charge money, and people would just go through Bedlam and just look at all the people.
That's wild.
That's what they used to do. Now
That
it's
is-
reality TV, is what it is.
My uncle,
shit.
my
Yeah,
uncle
prison
Richie,
shows.
like my mom comes from a big farm family, not Mormon, but a bunch of kids, Catholic. Catholic.
They do it too.
Chad, Catholic.
They do
Okay.
it.
So my uncle Richie was developmentally disabled, and this is, I mean, he's passed now a few years ago, but I mean, this from birth, and he was, you know, probably in his late 60s, 70s. I should know the age he was when he passed, but he went through the whole thing at that time where like he came up, they sent him up here, and he was in a facility, and like the things that he was subjected to that people thought, like, you know, the
Yeah.
shock there, like all these crazy things that you go and you're like, that's a guy that is, I mean, a lot of my mom's siblings are still alive, like that was in that family
Yeah.
and went through that crazy.
Dealing with or having that.
Well, that's the Kennedys. I'm gonna spin this show out, but that's
Yeah, you are.
one of the Kennedy daughters.
Yep.
Joseph Kennedy, who was JFK and RFK's
Oh, yeah,
dad.
yeah,
So
yeah.
one of the daughters, I don't know if she was disabled or if she was like severely, it was some sort of either cognitive or mental disability, and he put her through the electroshock and just like vegetabled her.
Just
Yeah,
figured this is.
she never came back from it. He
She'll-
just vegetabled her. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
That was invented in Utah. The lobotomy was invented. in
I think
Utah.
I think she actually, Hay Bales can look it up. but
like
he doesn't have a
figurative,
mic.
not literal. Like
But
literal.
who's
they
Hay Bales?
actually,
And-
they actually,
Yeah.
because a lobotomy, what is a lobotomy actually?
It's basically you
cut their
turn off
brain
the
off.
frontal lobe.
Frontal lobe.
Do you cut some of it out, or is it like
the
an
first one was
electroshock?
literally an ice pick?
Yeah,
right
they used to
there.
go right through the eye. They'd
And they would just windshield
they'd
wiper it.
move your eyeball, right, and they'd go around it, and then they would go in, and they would just kind of like think of erasing an Etch-a-Sketch without the shaking, right? It's like,
No, you had anesthesia, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a real thing. That was just up north, somewhere in northern Utah. I can't remember which.
Was it a Mormon who invented it?
I don't know. I didn't.
Bad day for hay bale to not have a microphone in back.
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's really wild. I often think about that with kind of some of the health stuff that I've gone through. I was like, man, if I just was 100 years in the future, they'd probably have all this figured out, and my mobility would be great and all that stuff. You're like, yeah, but you go about 30, 40 years back.
and you'd be
just,
windshield.
yeah, just bury me. Yeah.
Well, and the Kennedys did it because it's a horrible thing to do, but my thing is you always have that as a parent. I mean, even a normal kid is going to be embarrassing. And
Sure. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but the way it was viewed back then, if a kid was going through something
Yeah.
like, it's kind of like how if you had a pregnancy back then, just send her to live with her grandma, and then she comes back
So
like,
that's the thing,
crazy
they did-
summer with her grandma. Nothing weird at all. This won't suck for her whole family when a lady shows up to Christmas in the 90s.
yeah.
I'm your daughter.
Wow, you must have done a lot of running this summer. You lost quite a bit of weight.
So yeah, to me, they had to have two. They did that to the daughter, and then when the one son drives into a lake with it, like, geez, we should have done him too. You know?
No kidding. Hey, if you're going
raised
to go
some
off
more
a
problems.
bridge with a hooker, maybe
Get
we
in
should.
line. We should do.
Anybody got a coat hanger? No, not for an abortion.
Here you go, Ted. Stretch
missed-
your eyeball to the left. I'm coming in.
We should have hangered you before. We're going to get you one way or the other.
Okay, I dead ended it. But
No, hey, that's how this podcast works.
okay,
It's
good.
just
Absolutely.
we generally go until we've dead ended it, and then we just roll credits. We're not big goodbye people.
But I also want to know.
We used to be, but somebody didn't act great about that.
I want to know if my feelings are my feelings.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
I want to know what
that you're in
happened with
therapy.
the conjoined twins. Like, did they just then go on their merry way?
You know, this was interesting. They didn't like the canyon either. I mean, they were like
kids.
probably 12-year-old girls. They were like
Yeah.
Who gives
big
a
deal.
shit? They got
Plus,
me.
they're more amazing than Canyon too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
They've seen. Well, this is nothing.
Well, I
like
do
it.
have to ask a question, and you don't have to answer it if you don't want.
Okay.
But at how many days did it take for your niece and your daughter to just wear one T-shirt and go, "Look at me"?
Car ride home.
Yeah. Just like the Grand Canyon.
They didn't do that. They didn't do that. Dang
That's
it.
amazing.
That's good parenting right
Because
there.
I will tell you
might have
this.
lived in a tent, but that's
Yeah.
good parenting right there.
I remember seeing a guy with one arm when I was a kid, and I was not even around the fucking corner before I pulled it in and put my elbow out my sleeve. I wasn't even around the corner yet. So the fact that they didn't do that is really great.
My daughter didn't see it.
She was in the gift shop.
My niece saw it,
Okay.
and they didn't say anything. And then it was like maybe 20 minutes later, we sat down for lunch, and I was and they weren't
Rattled.
saying anything. So I'm like, should I bring it up? Who's going to bring it up? I said, boy, that young girl, that was pretty. And then my niece said, yeah. And my daughter said, what? I said, oh, because you couldn't say, hey, look. You know, that's not something
Right.
you could do. She never saw it.
That's incredible that she hated the Grand Canyon,
Yeah.
wanted to be in the gift shop the whole time,
And missed
didn't appreciate the fireplace.
And missed the two-headed
and
girl.
then missed. Yeah.
It was a bummer trip for her. Wasn't that much?
I would say so.
We had a good one.
How was
She-
your summer? It was almost awesome.
So close. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I've never seen conjoined twins in person.
I don't think there's a lot of them. I think it's them. I think they're the ones.
There was two.
I think
there
they're
There's
the
the ones that they joined at the head.
Wasn't there a country
Yeah.
music act?
And I
Yeah.
think a country music.
Was one of
No,
her?
one of
She
them-
was a country music singer.
Yeah. One of
and
them wanted to
they-
be a singer, and the
Yeah.
other one was like, "I fucking hate your singing."
Yeah.
But then they had. I think it was the country singers.
Is this a Will Ferrell movie?
No.
No.
I think it was the one that
He
wanted to
ripped
be
it
a
off.
country singer
Yeah.
had like most of the body, and so I guess she got more of the vote. and so she got to be. I'm being serious here. She got to be the country singer, and the other one was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I hate this.
She would wait until the one was asleep, and then she would call and make bookings, and then
I believe because of this country
true.
music singing that the other one wanted to have the surgery to disconnect them.
Where were they
that
separated
bad.
at?
It was that they
I'm
were
pulling
joined at
them
the
up.
head. They were joined at the head.
I think they were joined at the head. Maybe
You
it's
can't
bodies.
separate up joined at the head.
No,
That's
no,
not
no.
worth it. You know how much you have to hate country music to be like, saw our brains in half.
I would do that.
No.
I'm not even connected to anyone, and I would let you saw my brain in half if even someone I lived with
God damn.
sang country.
Well,
music.
Lori, by the way, man, woman. Lori and George Chappell or Chappelle. They were American conjoined twins.
I don't know that that's
Bummer.
right.
They made it. Yes, it absolutely is.
But I think what
This
we're
was
talking
two
about
girls.
is two females.
It's two women.
I'm almost positive.
Unless one
No,
of
I
them
don't-
transitioned.
Dude,
and
are
then
there
there's a whole
multiple?
composition.
Okay, here's
That's
the thing.
interesting.
So
What's
there's
that?
another one here that says Lori and Dory.
I think that sounds right.
Maybe George is like her full name, and they died this year.
Okay.
Oh.
Oldest ever living conjoined
I believe
twins at 62.
That sounds about
Is
right.
it a coincidence that a bunch of people that share one brain like country music? I don't know.
So
He's genetic.
I mean, this one brain does thinking for two people. Come on down to the rock.
So this is super interesting. The siblings, this is part of in their bio. They were the world's oldest, but in their like telling their story, there's a paragraph that says the siblings then moved into their own 2-bedroom apartment and did their best to live independent lives. Lori and George had their own separate rooms, and they alternate sleeping in each one. Like,
Okay, gotcha.
that's tough. What that is like we went on so long that like that is if you don't get along excellently, if you've got even a hint of Liam, of Oasis in you,
Yeah.
that's a tough, that's a tough run.
Oh, that's
There's
great.
no one in the and I don't like. This has been your episode. Everybody, go on. You got a dry bar. Ben's
Yeah,
got
two.
a dry,
couple
Two
of
dry
them.
bars.
And another coming.
Third one
Yeah.
coming up,
Third one coming.
recorded February 22nd.
And-
Not going to be.
And you, so please consume Bent.
I'm telling you, it is really great comedy.
Thank you.
I'm telling you that right now. It is like, it's it's not this drivel shit that you're going to get a lot of. It's really fantastic.
And we like to make these episodes about the guest. But at the end, the only thing I want to ask is to Chad,
Yeah.
do you think there is anyone less equipped on the planet to be a conjoined twin than you?
Look at the fireplace.